Okay, thanks. So I think recording has started.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, let me share my screen first. Yeah, that entire screen. Okay. Okay, I think my screen visible to you all. So let's just start from this first presentation. Okay, so this training about that SQL Server L1 and L2 level training. Okay, it will take 24 to 27 hours to complete this training. Okay, and is the content. So we are starting from the implementation of database SQL Server, installation, testing, connectivity, enable and disable features that is required features we can enable. Okay, services and protocols, and then we go with the practical session. Means that installation of SQL Server with best practices. And second day, managing and configuring databases, a standby server reporting purpose. Okay, not we are going to implement HADR in the second day. Okay, we'll cover in that other HADR part 6 or 7 days, I think. Yeah, and then we will discuss about the SQL Server agent operators and how can we send alert and mail from the SQL Server agent. Database maintenance, we can cover that backup database maintenance like backup, and we can set tuning part that is indexing statics, or we clean up task. And next is monitoring part. So we will go through the all the basic monitoring and advanced level monitoring. How can we reach out the root cause and finding errors, and we can see the logs in the SQL Server. Next is DR part is log shipping and replication. HADR, we can cover monitoring and always on. Clustering is high abilities that is depend on the disk, storage disk, that is shared storage we can use in that. And then performance tuning and optimization using the default tools of SQL servers. And the last one is ETL, some basic import, export, and SSIS configuration with standalone servers. So I think hope you all are aware of this content. Anything missing here, you can let me know, or we can keep posted in the chat. Okay. So going to the first day of installation SQL Server. So here is the instance. And for this SQL Server installation, we required basic prerequisite like a .NET 3.5 minimum required, 2 GB of memory, and minimum 50 GB of storage. Okay, so we can start a store installation on this server. So here is the configuration of this share system. Basically, 8 GB of memory. Okay, and I think about the storage about 300. I think so. Okay, so let's start from that exe part. We can just need to mount this. Okay, because it's ISO pack. Mhm. Sorry.
So, Salish, for
Uh-huh.
this, I believe we got one email about the lab.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that is not working. That credentials are not working.
Now I think that is changed. Basically, we will share that we have a two more instances for you both. Okay, so I can share the details to you. I think, and yeah, I have already. So after this installation, when we go for the practical session, I will provide the credential for you both. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to
And
start
from
from.
from where
Mhm.
you got this ISO image directly on the system?
Basically, if we go with the, let me start from here. Okay. We can just write whatever we want to download na, from the Google. Okay. And we get that, see here the link, or we can go from there. Both is the same. Okay.
Is it your Taking Express or which version of this?
Uh, I think this is from Google, which that is
No, no,
Microsoft. We are downloading from.
are we
Mhm.
using the SQL Express or which version we are using?
No,
Express.
I will show you that basically in after 2017, we have a one bundle in Express developer and evaluation version. So we have to select that time what we are going to install: evaluation version, developer edition, or Express edition. I will show you that. Okay, basically this is for Express only, but yeah, this is the way how can we download. Okay, so this is for only 6 MB. So we get that one file. I can show you here on the server. Uh, 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 So this is a 6 MB of file. See, whatever you are seeing here. See. So after downloading this, we have to extract this exe. Then it will automatically download the Express edition file. Okay. So we can get like this is a developer edition and this is evaluation version. Okay, like this we can get here. So I think here is we have a developer edition. Okay, and we can if you want we can go with the evaluation version too. So developer edition we cannot this is not expired. Evaluation version expired after 60 days. Sorry, 180 days. I mean 6 months. So that is a difference.
Okay.
So we are
Evaluation edition is the complete enterprise edition, right?
yeah we can get all the features whatever Microsoft providing in the enterprise edition. So
Okay,
we can
fine.
see all the features that is provided Microsoft. Okay, for development we can use all the features, but only for development we cannot go that database in production. We cannot keep the database as a production database. So we can use for development lifelong, not an issue. But evaluation version has expiry date 180 days. After the automatic system is locked down, we are not able to log in the system if we are not upgraded or we are not activated as a standard or any other upper level of that SQL server.
All right.
Yeah. So we are going with I think developer edition here. So first we have to right click and mount this. The basic thing we have to just mount that one, and we get here. So like this is a setup file, and this is extracted here. So these are the components in that ISO file. Okay. So basically we go with the setup file. Just click on the setup, and here is too many things like we have to just focus on that because this window will provide too many things like repairing of databases, or we have to just configure high abilities or some other tools. So we have to just this window we can get that. So planning means what hardware required, security documents, online release, whatever about this release Microsoft provided, database that is migration assistance we can download from here, or that is migration assistance here. Okay, both two is different thing basically. SQL Server Migration Assistance, or that is DMI. DMI is other assistant tool, but this is for another database analyzer and all. Okay, for upgrade and this type of activities we can perform from this tool. Okay. Now the installation part, there's two things. For a standalone, we can go with the new server standalone server installation, and if we are going for HADR failover cluster, we need to use this one, new failover cluster and node adding. Means the clustering, when we are going to do a clustering of SQL Server, we need to install from here, these two component only, not the first one. Okay. And after 16, Microsoft deprecated all the, this is not in a bundle of SQL Server reporting services, Management Studio, and Data Tool. These are three component that is default bundle in SQL Server that now it is in separate setup file. So we have to download separately and then you have to install reporting services, Management Studio, and then Data Tool, SSDT. Okay. So now, today we are going to install this first, we can say that a standalone server. So now we have to click here. See here, we can see evaluation version, developer and Express edition. So whatever we are going to install here, no, we have to just select here. So evaluation version, see here, it is 180 days expiration. In developer, nothing basically. Okay. So we are going to see here developer edition. Okay. Or we evaluation version, what you want basically.
Yeah, let's make it evaluation edition here.
Okay, so we can see the upgrade part also. Okay, okay, yeah, that's right. Good. So we can upgrade after that couple of days. We can upgrade this one. So we can see that one. Okay, evaluation version. If we have a key, we can pass the key here. Hit next. By default, we have to accept this Microsoft software licensing terms.
Key is required
Because
for which particular version,
every
or is it
version,
every
every
version?
by default, we have to accept that. Without accepting, we cannot go further. Okay, the
Or a
next
key
step.
is
By
required
default,
for evaluation version, wherein we need to evaluate and stop the restriction of 180 days.
yes, 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 yes. So evaluation version means that we are just checking the software. This is a free version. Okay, you're just checking all the features that is working in your environment. Then you can purchase a link, sorry, key, and then you can upgrade that to the standard enterprise edition, whatever the your requirement basically. So most of data center we use for new production, that is use evaluation version for 1 month, and after that they are going to upgrade that with the license key. So by default, we accepted this license, sorry, agreement, and now it is asking for update. So we are not going for update, and because the system is newly created, so we are not going to check update and all. Okay, it will check
But
some. Mhm.
in real environment, is it recommended to ignore update, or is it recommended to
Yeah,
update
yeah.
the?
The best, no, no, no. Basically, in SQL Server, if you have not changed anything in the Windows side, na means you have not uninstalled any patches. Okay, so no need
Okay,
to install the patches, because Microsoft recommend every month of the first week it will pushing the updates by default. If you are not updating, it's okay. Microsoft already installed that on, and it will ask for restart only in the backend. This
okay.
is the background process basically. Okay. So now this is the main part here to focus this. What are the features we required for our environment? Okay. So we have C here. Basically, database engine required and replication is required, because we have to just replicate data and all. This is default basically. This is database engine. We have to click this one. Okay. This is for machine learning. We are not going for machine learning, Python and Java. Okay. And this is for full text search, semantic search. Okay. This is for basically we can say that the other features in SQL Server. Data quality we are not using, because this is a part of integration services. We can say that SSAS. Okay. Polybase we are not going. Analysis service we are not going to test here. Okay, machine learning not. See here, we are not getting a reporting services. See, because it is a different setup for that reporting services. Okay, integration services we required basically for DTS packages. Client connectivity tool yeah, required, and other computer level SDK required. No distribution relay. Okay, must not required. Okay, so these are
Can
the
you
four.
can you just
Mhm.
elaborate just for 5 minutes about this these services? One was SSS, and one was
Yeah, yeah.
reporting. How is it
Yeah, yeah.
used?
We have a PPT. I can explain you all the
Okay,
details
fine,
after
fine.
installation. Okay, I've already
Okay.
kept here. See, because this is a part of training, no? So I have already kept here all the details for the services. Sorry,
So these
see,
are these are the paid option, like based on the features we select, it will be a license implication on these options.
yeah. In one license, we can use reporting services on one server anywhere. Okay, on the same server or anywhere. Okay.
So what are the by default which will come with the standard edition in this,
By
or is it?
default, yeah. By
uh,
default, you can get that database engine repeat. You can get all these things, but you cannot enable because of that restriction. Basically, you can use that these all these things in a standard edition, but the security part, that is database encryption, high availability, that is basic algorithm you can get in a standard edition. You can get
Uh,
2 or 3 replica in a standard edition. So there's many differences in the enterprise and a standard edition basically.
no, the question what Gopal is asking is if you go in on that PPT reporting
Mhm.
server and yeah,
Mhm.
so do we need a separate license for integration server or reporting server and an analysis server,
No,
or it is a part of enterprise edition?
is a part of a standard enterprise. If you get a one license, na, you
Mhm.
can use one reporting services, one integration services, or analysis services max
Okay,
with nothing. Yeah,
all
this
right.
is based on your core. You are going for the core base. You can it depend on the core. Okay, if it is the more core on the server, it is not allow you to install. that will get an error.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. So these are the features for enterprise or basically for that requirement of that your application and all. Okay, so that's why there's a features provided. All features you get from the Microsoft that is provided on the enterprise edition, but we will check only that is required for a standalone server. Okay. Now the part of installation where we have to keep the data files and all.
One
Okay.
second, Silas, just to clarify, on the feature screen, right now we are doing evaluation. Let's say
Yes.
I'm doing a standard edition installation. I'll get the same screen there also,
Yes,
same
yes, you can
options,
get,
say,
yeah, you can get same all these things in every edition, but there is
okay.
a restriction in high abilities, database encryption, okay, security point of view. So in enterprise, you can get database compression, DTE, always on a multi replica, but in a standard, you have limitations of that one replica, readable replica you can create.
So
That is basic one.
I'm basically interested to know what are the features or options which
Mm-hmm.
doesn't come under along with the SQL Server standardization, which I should be completely aware whether should I check that box? Do we have the license for that or not? What are that options? If you have some in the slide, just please let us know so that if I'm doing a
Yeah,
standard
yeah.
edition by default installation, I need to know, okay, these options I should not select or I can select if I have a license. Otherwise, I should not. That is what I'm trying to ask for the standard edition country.
Okay, so for that we have a cheat sheet for SQL Server. Okay, I will share that one because there are too many features, more than 256 features. Okay, so that is in your price, that is not in standard edition, so I can show you. Okay, or I will share
Mm-hmm.
in that other slides. Okay. Okay, so this is basically see this is the machine learning about this. Okay, so machine learning
Mm-hmm.
you can enable that. Now it will work on a standardization, but there's a limitations on the high abilities part. I'm just saying that is you just focus on high abilities and security part. Okay, if we are
Mm-hmm.
using any security things like database encryption, so that will not support in a standard basically. That
Mm-hmm.
features come in a enterprise only by
Entities.
default.
Okay.
Okay, next is high abilities. So in high abilities we have a we cannot make a multiple replica in a standard edition. We can use only basic always an ability group. Means we can just create one replica in standard edition. But in SQL Server Enterprise edition, you can make multiple replica. So this is a feature of dependencies because you can expand your abilities. There is a difference only. In enterprise, sorry, in evolution you can create for testing purpose. In developer you can create for development purpose, but you cannot use as a production, but you can get all the features. They're a simple thing. You can get all the features, but you cannot implement as a production, use as a production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you have not selected this client tools connectivity. That is not required.
No, no, yeah, let it taken here. The shared services with see the shared features and the default feature. See here. The instance features means what instance we are going to implement. SSIS is a analysis service. There's OLAP,
Mm-hmm.
online tension analysis processing. Okay. So this is OLAP. There's cubes. We can create cubes and all. BI part. Okay. So for BI, we have to enable this one if you're going for SAS. For full text search, we have to enable here. So then we can use the full text from application side or from any other tools for full text. This is a quality services. That is for all data quality checking. That is for data analysis only, not a OLTP. So there's two things, OLAP and OLTP. You know that I think. Online
Yeah.
transfer processing that is for OLAP. Also OLTP and analysis services is OLAP. There are two things only. Okay. So that's why we have to just select we are going for OLTP or OLAP. So OLTP you can select the database engine by default. Replication you're using for replicating data. Simple from one server to different other servers. And the shared services we have to focus on shared services. What we require data. Sorry, not quality. Data client tool. Sorry, this is my mistake. So client tool connectivity will required. Tool background completely required because we are using a lower version, so that will connect with that this server ssms via ssms we can connect and we can use that yeah, we can say that linked server and we can fire command from this server to another server for reporting purpose from that is data integration, we can use that one. So these are two shared features, we can use that one. Rest is
Acha,
not required.
where is the option? Let's say we don't have a enterprise edition, है ना? We
Mhm,
want to install a standard edition. So where to
mhm.
select that or specify whether it is standard?
So basically for standard edition, we will not get, sorry, just let me minimize that. We will not get like this. We will get that this is a evaluation. See the env dev. Okay, so this is a developer
Okay.
edition. We get std, a standard edition, or eng enterprise. So ent enterprise edition in the last.
Okay, we will get different binaries for standard and
Yes, binary and naming convention is different one. See, the name
how
is,
can we find
see,
out?
the last three digits. This is dev,
Okay.
dev here. If this is a
So,
standard std here, or for
mhm,
enterprise ent.
okay. So we need to download appropriate binaries.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
So this
fine.
is a development, and you can see here for evaluation. You can see that is written as env, I think so. Sorry, sorry. See, env evaluation version, the last three digit. Okay, so that's different. Okay, so next is, where is server? Minimize that one. Now clear now. Okay,
Okay,
so
yeah.
yeah. So we are discussing about this root directory path. Okay, so where to keep that SQL Server binaries? So by default or according to best practices, we are not keeping anything in C drive. Okay, we have to just change that on that binaries. But some shared feature, some shared file goes to C drive program files. Okay, so I think this server is only C drive. So we are not going to modify this one. Uh, Yeah, only C drive. Okay. Next. Okay, so here this window we just see default instance or named instance. Default means on a same server we can create only one default instance named as MS SQL server. Okay, this ID is unique ID for every instances on this server basically. Okay, if you want to install named instance, we can customize this, or we can pass your name as for our desire. Okay, whatever last we can say that demo or something like that, test environment, QA environment. Okay, so we can create as a named instance. So for a standard edition, we have a 49 named instance you can create on a same server. Okay, max. Or enterprise edition, as for our resources. Okay, whatever our we have resources means database, memory and storage. So we can create multiple named instance on same server, but the
Let's say,
default instance.
yeah,
Mhm,
let's say we have created a default instance and DB is running on there. Now we have to
mhm,
create one more instance.
mhm.
है ना? So can we create
Yes,
another named instance? So
yes, yes,
we can have a default instance and a name instance.
yes, yes.
Okay.
I can show you all these things because this is benefited, because when name default is corrupted, na, how can we proceed for that basically? How can we install on the same server? So in sorry, in SharePoint, basically the data architecture not use default instance. They go for the named instance in any SharePoint application database configuration. Okay, but in .NET we are using default, and I think yeah, Microsoft each and every product. Okay, except that SharePoint.
Yeah. Actually, my question is that let's say there is a SQL server running with a default instance, है ना?
Mhm,
And
mhm,
we see that there are lots of resources still there, है ना,
mhm,
to accommodate a new instance. So
okay.
if there is a requirement to install new named instance, so can
Mhm.
it be installed on a server where default instance is there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine.
If you by default go for the named instance, na, default instance is not installed. Let's see, you have go for the first named instance. You have
No,
done
two
demo.
named instances are fine. That's okay.
Multiple, but
Multiple names,
depend on the.
but if one default instance is there
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, one named instance is also fine, right?
Yes, yes, fine. You can
Okay.
create that. Matlab, I mean to say that you can create multiple named instance as per your license. In a standard edition, maximum 49 named instance means one default instance, or 49 named instance means 50 instances you can create with that your standard edition license. Okay, simple on the same server if you are using that core based license or something like that. Okay. Or we can say that in enterprise we can create multiple as per your resources. There's no limitations of instance creation.
Yeah.
So by default we are going for this default instance, so the id is sql server, simple. Okay, and we cannot customize this one, we can just write something but it will go with that this name only. We can so see in services basically. So here is that server configuration means the services account. This is very we can say that useful or interesting part with the services. In any database server services, we can start different account with the different, not a default account. Okay, because we have to just provide the account permission and all. So the best practice is that we have to just create a separate service account for SQL server, and then we can pass the name here and the password, and as per requirement we can startup type select means when the system is a start, which services required first. So basically we know that database engine required first as a start automatically. Agent we can use as per our requirement. If we have any scheduled jobs and anything we have done, then we automatically keep automatically, else it is manual. Integration services we have not implement that we can keep disable, or we can set it manual. Okay, browser services for named instances we can uh, by default disable, but we can require if you are using named instance we have to just enable this one and keep automatically. Okay, for the named instance. So right now we are not using these things, but only go with the database engine, and it's automatically, and we have no service account, so it is going for by default. Here is the main part. This is a new thing that is integrated here. This is a part of Windows hardening. We can say that, or Windows Server fine tuning. Grant value maintenance task basically. This is in our group policy basically. Let's show you. We can discuss about this only also. Hmm, no, not here. In the search. I can, so this is a part of maintenance or performance tuning. You can say that. No, no, no. We can say that group policy, GP edit. Not installed, I think. GP edit. GP edit.msc. Yeah. So previously, before that, 16. Okay, we go to the group policy basically, and go to that Windows setting. Then we go to the security setting. Then we have a local policies. Then we have a user rights. And here we can see that same thing, volume maintenance. Where is that? Disk maintenance or volume maintenance? I think. So previously we are getting here. Okay. So we have to just pass here that the service account name to run that. For that, when we restore the database, now that will go initialize from the side of 0, means overwriting all these things. So SQL Server integrated this one here. Okay, just we have to check box enable here. Okay, if you are not going to this, we can get the error. See, oh, why? Basically, this is compulsory. Basically, okay. So this is for the zeroing the data pages. Okay, see here. avoiding during the pages initializing side is INF, that is known as instance file initialization by avoiding zeroing size. This is enabled for volume maintenance basically. This is required basically. Okay. So previously we go with that group policy via this window, but now it is we can get here only. Okay. This is in 17 or 19 or 22. Yeah, added here. Or I missed that on collation. So collation is that you know that this is depend on how we are data keeping. That is the format of data, upper cases, lower cases, mixed cases, or that is different languages. The Japanese or or we can say Chinese. So just we have to select that. But by default is CP1 CIS default. Okay, this is that collation of databases. How we are keeping the data in the database inside the databases.
So is that the recommended and the standard collision?
Yeah, yeah. This is a standard for all over world. If there's different countries, they are changing according to their language. Okay, you can customize that one. So by default, this is server level. We can now change the database level too. If there's a different application running, so we can change on the database level, but not on the server level. If we go for the server level, all databases crash basically, or change the data entire data. So we cannot change on the server level. This is the first one.
So,
Here we can change. Else we have to just change on database level.
so if we
This is
cannot
by
change on
default
the
for
instance, we have to
no.
recreate in instance.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we have to recreate. So before installing now, we just discuss with the application team which collection you require basically. If this is a different type of language there.
The application team might be just they just on the DB level. So when we do a standard instance level, we keep this, and then DB level we can have any other collection also.
Yes, yes, we can change now. Previously, it was a very hectic task for DBA basically because we have to just calculate all the data types and all. Where did they have going to change all these things? So we take a backup and then we can change that one. If there is not going any bad thing, then we can keep that one only.
So instance
So this
and DB both can have different collection and it will work, right? It will support.
yes, yes, yes,
Or is there
it will
any
support.
or is there any condition? Okay, if it is instance Latin one, then you can use only this only the collection at the DB level.
No, 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 no,
There
no.
is nothing.
This is
Okay.
this is for all databases basically. Okay, if you are going to create any user databases, so you have to just change that collection level from their properties. I can show you where we can change that one. Okay, you have all the features with inside the databases now. So keeping default here. Okay, and next. Now here is the best thing. Security part basically server level configuration, the authentication mode. So SQL Server provide us two authentication mode. Windows authentication mode means the window account can log in or domain account can log in on the SQL Server. Okay, but not a SQL account allowed to log in. So mix mode here, you can use SQL account as well as Windows account. Means if you created any logins on a SQL Server, that guy also log into the SQL Server, and the window account also we have mapped that, then we can log in the SQL Server basically. So from the DB side, the best practice is that we use mix mode. Means you can use SQL account as well as window account. And here is the SA account, a sysadmin or system admin. We can say that SQL Server system admin. This is the uh, principal account for the SQL Server. We can say that. So we have to just pass here the username, and uh, here we have to add a current user or different user instead of you want to disable this account after installation. The best practice is that after installation, every DBA disable this SA account, create different account as a sysadmin. Okay, or the guy who are installing this setup. Okay, so first we will add this current user as a system admin, specific system admin. Okay, so this is also a system admin. And here we can say that the password. So we have to just keep password. Okay. So this is about this authentication uh, type or SQL Server authentication type or authentication mode. We can say that. I think password is wrong. No, it's good. Okay. And this is for directory. What happened? Password is mismatch. Okay. So this is about authentication we have done. Any question on authentication mode? If not, then we're going forward for data directory. So here is the main thing. We will do our best practices. Okay. Root directory, we have to keep C drive, but leave it. Okay. System database directory. Okay. So system database means master DB, MSDB, model DB, or team DB, where you have to keep. User database directory, where you have to keep database, user database directory, data files and log files, and the backup directory. So the best practice is that we will keep backup drive in R drive, user log file in L drive, user data file in D drive, and system DB directory in S drive, because it is a standard for understanding the which database keeping in which mount point, or we can say directory. Okay, so that is helpful to understand all these things in the time of our performance tuning or troubleshooting where we have keeping the data. So this is only a C drive we have, so we can just keeping on C drive. We have to just modify this from here, or we can just map from here where we are going to keep that these user databases. So please do not keep anything in C drive. You have to just keep in D drive, L drive, T drive, or R drive. We can map like that. Okay. Next is about TempDB. Previously, we don't have a TempDB features to tune here. Okay, everything is we are going to sorting and calculating using any function that will go on the TempDB basically. So TempDB, that is depend on the number of cores it create of files. Basically, is the 4 cores of 4 file of TempDB created. Size of 8 MB initializing. Okay, the initial file is size is 8 MB for the 4 files. So this will require totally 32 MB of space on the disk. This is totally empty because we are not doing any calculation right now. This is the installation part. So 32 MB is totally empty space occupied by SQL Server operating system. Okay, from the OS side. So this is the best practices. Previously, we do the server hardening after installation, but it is attached here. At the time of installation, we can do that. Okay. Next is the part of performance tuning MDOP. That is max degree of parallelism. We are using any nested queries and waiting for the another one. So we can allocate here. It is dedicating for CPU, but the best practice is that we can allocate max 50% of CPU. Means if we have 8, we can allocate 4 max, or the best practice is only keep, we have to just one is best. Okay, as for Microsoft, as for expert, or we can say that as a being a DBA, we can see in the our experience, we can keep only one, because we cannot allocate or we cannot cap all the CPU for that multiple, okay, nested queries. Okay, we can say this in simple way. Okay.
So
Next
can
is
we say
mem.
that, let's say we have a server with 16 CPU.
Mhm.
So in that case, it is recommended to keep it as 8 CPU, 50% or 1.
Max we can 50% allocate, but the best practice is one, because the in OLTP we are not using any more than 2 or 3 transaction at a time as a nested. We can say that we can say what I can say that waiting for other transaction. Okay, that is we are not fetching report on regular basis, basically on every half an hour interval, or we can say that on daily basis. So that is the basic depend on that your application. Basically, we can say that simple.
And this
If you
can
are
be
using,
modified later.
yes, yeah, we can
And
do.
does this require a restart
No,
of
no, only
instance?
memory, only memory and database engine.
Okay, fine.
So this is not required. Basically, this is we can say next part is memory hardening here, or for fine tuning. So see the max SQL Server support 2 TB. Okay, so we have here 6 GB, I think. Yeah. So basically, it will not recommend you here. Just we have to do that. This is the OLTP transaction, and this is a dedicated server. See, two things. If we have a shared server or dedicated server, so that is depend on that. We can allocate a memory. So if this is a dedicated server, we can allocate max 70% of total RAM. Means if we have a 6 GB, we can allocate not more than 4 GB, because rest of 25 GB memory used by the other services like Windows services, other browser services, we can say that, or other antivirus services on the server. So that will use that one. So we can, the best practice is that we can allocate max and max 70% of total memory to the SQL server. So here it is 6 GB. We can go with, uh, currently I'm keeping it 2048, 2 GB only. Okay, I can show you via command. We can upgrade, modify that amount. Okay, we can allocate more than that with the command. Okay,
So Salesh,
and
this
mhm.
memory you are giving, let's just out of 6, you are saying 4 GB. This is at the instance level. If I have
Ye-
5 databases, all these are sharing this 4 GB memory,
yes,
or we can give at the DB level separate
no,
memory.
in SQL Server, no, in SQL Server buffer manager, that is managing all the memory in the SQL Server, that will assign memory as per your transaction. If you are going to fetch a report, so SQL Server browser services assign as per your data retrieval from a databases that required 1 MB or 1 GB. So let's say an example, if you're fetching some huge data and SQL Server buffer manager allocate you about 1 GB of memory to a single transaction, so rest 1 GB used for other transactions. So more than that, you
So
can get a memory timeout.
it's a shared memory basically for all the
Yeah,
databases for the
yeah, shared memory, we can
And
say that.
how about this max degree of parallelism? If you are saying set it 1, is that applicable to all the DBs under the instance, or is it we can set it
Yes,
separate
no,
degree also on the DB level?
yeah, you can do, but it will override the server level. So in new features, we are getting MDOP on the DB level too. So we can modify from there also. If you want to be not using shared MDOP, we can allocate from there. So we can see that
So,
one. How can we modify that one?
so
Okay.
if it is not applied at the DB level, it will take by default, which is at the instance. But
Server level. Yes, yes,
if
yes.
I have given
Right.
on the DB, so that will take the priority.
Yes, priority. Yes, because this is specified for the that database only. So this is
But
for
if we
main
talk
memory.
about but if we talk
Mhm.
about memory, it is only at instance level, huh?
Yeah, this is instance memory. Yeah.
Memory, there is
Not
no
on
option in
in,
saying, yeah,
yes, in
on the DB
SQL
level.
Server there is no option for database level memory allocation. Only SQL Server buffer manager can look into your transaction, what you are going to do on the server side. According to your transaction, it will assign you some memory. Minimum you have required 64 KB. The minimum memory for any transaction in SQL 64 KB is allocated. 64 or plus 3, 69. Sorry, 67 now. Okay.
Okay.
So sorry, this is a sorry, this is a mean memory or this is a max memory. Sorry. So mean memory, this is for starting for the server. If we are using any in memory tables, let's an example, we have a in memory table of 500 MB. Okay. So we cannot allocate mean memory 500 MB. We have to just allocate more than that because the table need to be loaded in the memory at the time of a startup for the system. So let's an example, we have a one temporary in memory table. So we are assigning here, let's see 1024 1 GB of memory. That's minimum memory, and the max is 4096 means 4 GB. Okay. So more than not more than that SQL Server use means one max 4 GB SQL Server can use from the out of that is 6 GB or 7 GB whatever the server. Okay. So if we are going to if we are in performance tuning, if you are getting any error, or we can say that in memory timeout, then we need to think about that memory part. Or we can get that one is that is page life expectancy in the SQL Server is a matrix, or we can say that stats in the SQL Server for performance monitoring, it is lower than 300 second, then you have to think about the memory basically. This server is running in low memory basically. So this is a part of performance tuning. You can see that stats also. Next is file streaming. So we are not using any file stream. That is for different features basically. So we are not going to inside that, not going to allow this one here. We can change from the services side, the backend after installation we can, if required. So this is the main server level configuration we are doing at the time of installation. We can do after installation too. Okay, if you can change all these things, and we can change after that installation via command via GUI side. Okay. And whatever we have selected, na, see, this is a snap, we can say our system is ready for that install all these features. So we can see one by one what we have selected. This is evaluation version. Okay. And this is PowerShell taken features, database engine, replication, client connectivity tool, integration services. Instance name is here. Instance ID is that. And next is agent reasoning, database engine. This account, manual type. This is automatically. And temp settings is here. And this is memory part and mdop. Okay, set one. This is a collation name. And this is the shared features. Okay.
So,
So these
Sunil,
all
before, if I have I got one Windows machine. I don't know what
mm-hmm,
all is installed at the OS level by Windows team, right? I
mm-hmm,
need to install a SQL Server Standard Edition. I don't know what are the prerequisites. So what are
mm-hmm,
the minimum things which I should check at before starting the SQL Server installation, that these are the the required things, otherwise SQL will not work, right? Like
mm-hmm.
anything at the OS level. So
So,
do you have
yeah,
that?
basically .NET 3.5, the minimum required. .NET
Yeah,
3.5. Let me show you
I
that
mean that
set.
that that
I
is
have a
based on the
document.
SQL Server version, or is it the by default?
No, by default, any SQL Server installation you can require that app wizard. Mhm. Oh, wrong spelling. Mhm. Mhm. So here we can say that the features and all. This is about that role. Okay, we are not going for installing IS and all DSCP. We can see here. .NET 4.7 is latest already installed because nowadays see here .NET 3 point minimum. So after that SQL Server get a restart and take latest one. So nowadays we are not bothering about this .NET 3 because a system Windows Microsoft is pushing all the updates on every month, first week of every month, the latest update. So that is updated
Mhm.
automatically. See. So basically, see, latest one, the oldest one, .NET 3.5, the oldest one. Okay, the minimum that is 3.5. After two, we can get 4.7, 4.8, whatever the release is. Okay, nothing required. Okay, so
Okay.
this is a basic requirement for SQL Server. Da, da, da. Okay, now minimize this one. So system is ready for installation here. Okay, so these are the features we are going to install. Okay. So you can see that the INF file is here, the boot start setting location. Okay.
One more
And
thing.
mhm,
You mentioned about that automatic updates, right? Which Microsoft
mhm,
push. So
mhm.
OST might have that auto enable every first week of the month
Yeah,
it
that
is
there's a
pushing.
W source we can say new terminology W source we can say that
Mm,
W server configured by a AD team, I think so, or
yeah.
data center,
Uh,
any admin guy. Okay, so that
mm,
will sit there on the domain side. Okay, one system is
mm,
server that will checking all the updates from the client side, client we can
mm,
say client instances, and
mm,
they're pushing all any few interval 20 days or 30 days after interval, it's pushing all this installation updates parts in background. It is getting downloaded and installed, but you can get and pop up for the restart. You can restart as per your convenient basically.
No, that I got it. I mean, when they have the updates,
Mhm.
so for a SQL server, do we it is recommended to enable that auto updates, or is it not required like you said, no? Which earlier in the
No,
screen we have got an option.
not required basically. As being a DBA, we can
Hmm.
say that we do not require to update SQL Server instance very frequently, because we can see that some different updates come in the SQL Server and it is crashing all the settings basically. Just like last couple of days, I'm getting a call from a data center. One update coming comes and it will change all the settings of reporting services basically. TSN or TLS. Oh yeah, TLS update. So that will change all the settings, previous settings. So we have to just roll back all the settings and then we have to start the reporting services. So before pushing any updates on the database server, Windows team need to connect with the DBA and ask these are the updates coming from this Microsoft. It is really required to install or not. So we have to decide that this is relevant to database or not. If this is
So
relevant to
yeah, as a standard practice,
Mhm.
we should not enable auto updates, but
Yes,
as per a maintenance activity, we should update that. Is it
yes,
like that? Okay.
yeah. Basically, for the Windows side, not from the SQL side. Windows update is by default is getting and updated, but the when we get a SQL Server update, we just need to test on the QA or development environment, and then you can update on that production environment basically.
You mean that Windows auto update is fine?
Yes, that is fine.
Okay.
But related to SQL Server, we cannot update automatically. We have to just test that patches or hot fixes or updates coming from the Microsoft, test on development environment, everything goes fine. Then we can allow WSUS team, or we have to just do it manual our end, DBA end basically. Because I was tell about the scenario na, that last to last week we get multiple reporting services issues. Okay, so in registry, all the TLS settings changed. So we just roll back all these settings one by one. So the best practice is that we just wait for that SQL Server updates for testing. After testing, we can implement on production server. Before that, we cannot allow anyone to update any SQL or any database related patch or updates installed on this database server. That need to be avoided basically. Okay, next is now system is ready for installation. So this is a installation tab. Sorry, button. We have just click here and installation get started. It will take 20 minutes max, basically, or less than that. So it will checking all the settings and installing here. Okay. So let's pause for 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Okay, and I will show you the details about that, the services. Mhm, mhm.
Okay, I'll be back in 2-3 minutes. Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, thank you. So let's just start from next step. A successfully installed SQL Server here. So you can see in the window.
Gopal, are you there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. So see, we have installed database engine, replications, or browser services, SQL Server Writer, back client connectivity to integration services. So all are successfully installed. Okay. Now we have installed SQL Server, but we cannot connect from GUI side. So we need a database management studio here. Okay, so we have to just already downloaded here. Just right click and installed. Okay, I think it will ask for a start. But let's see. Okay, so see here is saying that Microsoft Management Studio with Azure Data Studio. Previously, Data Studio is different one. Sorry, Azure Data Studio is different one for connecting Azure databases. But now we can connect with that same tool basically. Okay, this is a connectivity tool, client tool. We can say that. So let's see about the services. So here is the services, whatever we see. See, SQL services, agent services, integration, reporting, and analysis services, and browse services. So we can see here whatever we selected, na, that we get from here. Services. So now from here, services dot msc. So there are two way to see that one also, or you can see from the this services part, or another one is database server configuration manager. See this one, database SQL server configuration manager. So I can show you all here. See all the services installed here, which you have selected at the time of installation. Is a process ID, and in this way we can see here that SQL server. Okay, SQL server running automatically, and service account is default account. Okay, browser services, agent services. So basically we focus on these two services because this is a standalone server. Okay, and one more thing, from task manager we can also see the services. We can filter or we can check. See, this is agent services, browser services, and SQL services. I think, let me sort that. Where is that one? We can search that or we can see. Okay,
It should be
or
Microsoft, है ना? Microsoft SQL Server.
maybe some different service name. We cannot see from here. Basically we can check by default from server SQL server configuration manager, but I want to show you here. You can see MSI server installation is a different one. Okay, I think that is running, that's why it is showing. Okay,
No, it is just below that MS SQL Server.
where?
So if you can let go up, up. No, where is
It
I'm
is
starting
M.
with M.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same name we can get that what we have installed na, we can get the same name, SQL server. Okay, so this is the services from here. This is a configuration. By default DBA use this one. Okay, Windows team using this one, the server team. Go and stop and start from here. But the best practices we go from the here. Okay, we can see all these things here. Okay, so we have a server services, agent services. Okay, browser services, and integration services. We have not installed reporting services and analysis services, SAS. Okay, this is done. Okay, let's open this management studio. Tool here. Okay, so I'm just canceling here because if you know this is a client tool. Okay, so whatever you server name provide, you can connect. But if you are on same server and you have to check that the right server name, just cancel, not cancel that. You can just click here, go for the browse and check the database engine, the exact name. Sometimes data center will do copy paste. Okay, so host name is always same, so it will impact, or you can get an error while connectivity connecting from the different location. Okay, so we just check the correct name here. Okay, this is a uh, database right engine name. Okay, and see, I've already told you that we can connect via uh, SQL account as well as we can say that Windows account. So this is a window authentication. The user which have access on this server can connect by default to the SQL server. Okay, and the SQL account, if we created any SQL account, then we can connect using the SQL account. So I can show you that with the SQL account. Okay, this is a SQL account. Now we are going with the connect with that. This is a window account. If we are connecting from that, if we are connecting Azure server. Okay, so these are the three authentication we get from the Azure servers. This is MFA, multi-factor authentication, or directory, or with integration. Okay, so these three fall only for Azure database server connectivity from that this client tool. This is SSMS. Okay, for name dot we can say that in premise, or we can say that uh, except that Azure, we can connect these two authentication mode, that is Windows and SQL Server authentication mode only. So here we can see the server properties first from GUI side. So this is a server detail, the general detail. We can say Windows name, SQL Server, see here, product name, operating system, platform, Linux or OS, Windows, whatever we have. So this is Windows. Version name, language, total memory, processor, root directory, collection name, server level collection. This is, we cannot modify this one. Okay, is cluster means clustering click apni, if you enable HADR, if we can enable that one. Okay, so we have, this is a standalone server, so all this is grayed out. Okay, this is a memory part, whatever set here we can modify from here. This is a GUI part, we can see also a command line. This is a processor. Next is security part. So server level authentication, we have choose that server and window both. So this is a mixed mode. This is a window authentication. Auditing part, that is we are checking for only fail logging here. We can keep both successful, but we have too many log files. So we can keep only for logging failure, for tracking that anyone not trying to connect from a different network or different zone. Next is connections. So this is unlimited connection, that is zero. We can restrict number of connections from here. Okay, remote time of connection, that is 15, we can say that 10 minute. This is in second, na? Oh, yeah, this is a 10 minute. We can keep it at 15 minute, basically remote timeout, query timeout, for reporting purpose, but by default it is 600 second. Okay, database settings, it is a database fill factor, index fill factor, how we are filling that pages. So we can check in that performance tuning part in deep. Recovery interval 0 means that is checkpoint fire at very frequently here. Okay, we can check change as for our requirement. We can keep at 1 minute or 2 minutes, but it is fire within a minute basically for the recovery type. Okay, database directory here, default directory where you're keeping data files, that is log files, and this is a backup directory. Okay, so this is a configured value, means this is enabled. Okay, we can change that after that is required restart, not required, that is automatically committed to the databases. Backup comparison, we can use that one, but we can check from the GUI side. I can show you how can we change that from the command line. Okay, this is advanced level setting on the servers. Whatever we can enable here, it is by default implemented on entire databases on the server. So this is cost threshold 5 second by default, locking 0, max duration we have enabled 1. Okay, query weight That doesn't minus mean to not wait for query, and this is going to read a data, write a data, okay, without if there's no lock. And for ad hoc query load, this is false. We can enable if we are using any ad hoc queries. Okay, yeah, this is on the server level side, nothing else. Okay, there is a permissions. So in permissions, we can see that the security type, if anyone wants to check the server monitoring, or we can server stats, we can have to give permission view any definitions. So this is depend, this is security part. We cannot blindly provide permission to anyone end user. Okay, that is totally based on their requirement. We can provide on server. Basically DBA has full rights on the server, but the end user can use their schema, or we can say that they are databases, so we can provide their permission to on data, not on server level. But this is a special cases for monitoring tool, or any DBA manager can ask, then we can provide some view definition only through taking that server stats and all. uh,
So you
just
will, we will see that in detail, in user security.
Yeah, with that
Uh,
different topic, we can check an error and all these things. How can we provide, what is the permissions? There is a server level roles, there's a database level roles, so we can check all these things. See,
so we
if you
will check
when we
that in detail,
yes,
later.
yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
fine.
later, yeah, basically. Okay, so this is a
Can
server
we
level.
segregate which all parameters, instance parameters, require an instance restart and which all do not? Is there a way to find that, or we just
Yeah,
need to Google that?
no, 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 yeah, there's a way. I go on that point. Basically, I can show you just for a while, where basically this we have a procedure sp underscore config. Okay, so there's a procedure, we can get that all the parameters here, or system settings. So this is 25 showing, this is more than 76, I think. So if you just enable that one, this is already disable because it's the first installation. I can show how can you tune the server. Na? In that we can check all these things. Okay, it's a different.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, just I'm showing for this time only. So
fine.
see, there's all the parameters here. More than 83. Previously 76, but it's 83. See here. Okay, so these are all the parameters. Okay, minimum value, max value, configure value, run value. Okay, so if you configure that where required, now we have to just we can see that this is 0. Okay, after restart it will go with the 1. So this is the memory part. Let's see, so you call that is uh, this is your database mail configuration, fill factor, memory part. Memory is here, mean memory, sorry, max memory and mean memory. So this is required your restart, but it is implemented because we have just done in part of installation, so it is getting restarted at that point of time. Okay,
So
if you
how
do it
can we
from here.
identify whether it requires a restart or not?
Yeah, we can I can show you the different command. Basically they are the description here. Okay, so that is, I think, sys.sys config file. Select in that we can get a description here. There's a one column here. Okay, in that we can get all this detail. Select start from this dot conf. Yeah, sys dot configuration. So we have to just read all this data basically. See,
Okay, dynamic is there.
oh,
Fine,
yeah,
got it.
dynamic. See, yeah. Okay, so this is the system view, basically table. We can check, we cannot modify from here, we can modify from this procedure only. Okay, we'll just call this parameters and all. Just there's the id, the name, the value, min max, value in use, whatever we configured. Okay, this is a description about that stats, or we can say the name, and this is dynamic. Okay, so more
Okay,
than 83, yeah, about 83. So we can see basically the best practice. So we have to just see, if you go for this database, see, it will ask. Okay, it's asking. So if you enable that one, it will change here in the backend first, and then it will go with the start. Or if you check here that database mail from here, that is disable. Database mail. No, sorry. See here. So if we are going to configure this, it will first ask to enable. See, so it will ask for restart. If we configure here, it will not going to implement all the mail. Okay, it will ask restart and then shooting the email from that database mail. So we
Okay.
will enable that in the hardening part, SQL Server fine tuning on the hardening part. We can check that on all step by step. Okay. And now it is done the installation part. Next is our services. So see here services. Next is protocols. Okay. I think we have a protocol in the tab. Oh, check that on content. So testing we have done, enabling digital features and service and protocols. So service and protocols is here. Mhm.
Acha, for documentation, which guide is good to refer?
For SQL Server, there is a SQL Server 2008 internals. Okay, that is the best
Hmm.
book for DBA basically. But Microsoft release every version have their different book, but that is the best one. SQL Server internals. You can search on the Google. You can
Can
get
you
that
just
one.
ping that URL?
I think I
Or
have
is
to
it a
search.
book to download?
Yeah, I think 200 and more than 200.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
we can
ping
say that
the book name, we'll
SQL
search that.
Server internal.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
this is the name. This is the best book basically for the DBA.
Okay, we'll search for
So
that. If not, then tomorrow
yeah,
I'll ask you.
yeah. I think I have to check in my sandbox basically. This is very
Okay,
old book basically. Yeah.
okay, yeah, fine.
So here's the protocols. Okay, so we have a three protocol previously to four. Okay, that is now it is three. In 2005 I think, yeah, four. Okay, but after 2016, yeah, this is three only. So shared memory for the shared services on the same, we can say that name pipeline for that we have installed, we have connecting that database also with the name or TCP IP, the global, we can use IP addresses or hostname both we
Can
can
you
connect.
explain this named pipe little more?
Name pipe means that is if you are using any HADR, okay, are you using name host name basically. See here we have a IP address, okay, and we have a host name. So this is a host name, okay. So host name cannot be changed basically. Sometimes IP address conflict in network and we not able to connect with the server or showing that system is not in network. So if you are connecting intra-network or any data center, you can use host name that is for HADR part. In log shipping replication, we cannot pass IP addresses. Okay, we can pass that host name and that will connect and never disconnect basically without any host name change. No one can going to change the host name basically. Okay, so that will not impacting our performance and we can say that not impacting our HADR configuration and settings.
So
So
which
that will
protocol does it use? Is it using IPC protocol?
IPC, no, TCP IP is for a
No,
name
named
pipeline.
pipes.
I no in SQL, so this is name pipeline basically name, but IPC, I
Okay,
am
leave
not sure
IPC.
about that. Yeah,
Uh.
yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah. So basically, from DB perspective in production, uh, if we are using in any normal data center, name pipeline is fine. Okay, but you are using multi data center, geo replication, or is not trusted basically. Okay, and we can say that means different data center you are replicating data, so you can use TCP IP basically because it will help you to track that IP or search the IP. Sometimes host name is blocked. So host name basically for we can say that name pipeline in entire intra network or entire network in your domain we can use. If you have multiple domain like subdomains and all or other companies tie up and you are trying to connect with Jobong and Flipkart, so that time name pipeline not best practices. Okay, we have to use that TCP IP mainly because this VLAN is different and you can use that to connect.
If you are connecting from on-premise to Azure, then which protocol will you use?
In Azure, you have TCP IP basically. Okay, Azure is not in your domain, or you can use TCP IP. So
Like
because the browser can allow.
application is
Yeah.
in on-premise, they connect to the SQL Server, and SQL Server database is in Azure.
Okay.
So in their end, it is data is flowing through TCP IP.
In Azure, there is a setting for security, so you can use both. You can connect with that in Azure instance. You can use named instance, sorry, name pipeline. But basically, we not enable. Basically, TCP IP is good, but you can in TCP IP you can use both named instance, you can connect via name or IP address both. Means you can say that if you are have a URL for Azure database, okay, so you can use URL and connect with the SSMS, but you have to enable TCP IP only by default. Not name. It is only for HADR only. You can say simple. You can know that in HADR you're configuring local to local, na? Or in same domain. That is good. Best practice basically. Means there is no security violence and all. In simple term, we can say that.
Okay.
But the best practice is TCP IP is good because in TCP IP you can use host name and IP addresses. Sometimes we do not know the host name. We not remember the host name. IP address is easy for remembering. This is a VLAN. This is the last IP address of this database server. So you can connect that one. This is the way of connectivity basically. Now going to enter that in TCP IP, their setting. So SQL Server run on by default port is 1433. Okay, this is a default port. TCP IP default for a SQL Server. Okay, if you go for dynamic, no, sorry, named instance, we get here different protocol. Sorry, different port basically. So the best practice is that we should never run this server on default port basically. In Oracle, there's a 15331, I think, said. Yeah, 1531, I think. Or HANA, there's different one. So just we have to just modify this port before going to the production. This is not a best practice running on default port of the SQL Server. So if you modify that, that's a default. We can modify that one. We can we can check that 3434. 4434. Okay, but it is required restart. Okay, and then we can telnet this port to connect from different network and all. So this is about that protocol. This is
And
about the
what
services.
about TCPS protocol if we want to configure secure protocol?
So here is this is a secure. You have to just set change on firewall. There's no TCPS basically.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a default only. So we have only two port. Okay, so this is we can change from here only. Okay, there's nothing about to change here. Only we change that one, or you can use on dynamic port. We can delete that, or you can use dynamic port, different dynamic port, not on TCP port. That you can decide that one. And alias we can configure if you want to configure the alias of the sys server. Okay, if required, but mainly we not use that alias name for the server. And these are the services. So all services come here. Okay, and we can restart or modify or we can assign. So for HADR, the best practice is that our SQL Server and agent server should run in a same by the same username. Basically, that user has permission to read write in network, nothing else, not more than that. Because we have to just read data or write data on network or local drive. Sometimes it will ask by the intro what permission required for the SQL Server account. Okay, nothing, not yeah. There's two things only: the service account and this a protocol. And yeah, enable and disable and features. So we have shown in that graphical part, and we can also use that command line. So enable features. So we have to enable that database mail. Okay. So for the command line, we have to remember that one. Okay. This procedure sp configure. So anything you are going to change on server level, any features you have to enable, just we have to use that sp configure and then pass the name, and the 0 means disable, 1 means enable, and then we have to just reconfigure that. Reconfigure, override, we can say that. Okay. So now basic thing is that we have to enable database mail, agent services. Okay. Yeah. Replication not required. So we can go with the database mail first. So database mail is just only for sending an email from the SQL server like alerts or any report automation. So that will use. Okay. We have to just configure this database mail using our SMTP server and account we need, that is email address, SMTP server, and user and password we can see in the configuration part. And next we have to enable database engine. Sorry, not engine. We have to enable agent, SQL server agents. Where is that? Oh, agent services. I think, yeah. Or just we can double click here, or we can do from here also. Just let's see. We can see that is after that the run value is 1 here. Okay, let's me refresh that one. Uh, See, so we can do from GUI side or command line also. So now database engine also done. Sorry, database mail. See, the run value is 1. So we have enabled that. Fill factor is filling the pages. So this is part of performance tuning. So how we are going to fill, how much we are going to fill the data pages, we have to allocate here 90%, 100%. So that is depend on if we are doing 60% read or 40% write, then we have to change this one. If we are using 90% read or 10% write, so not required here basically from the DB side, as per my experience. Okay. Now from configuration part, we have checked all these things. By default enable. Okay. Remote logging timeout 10 second. That is best practices. Okay. After 10 second, user can get an error. Okay. So this is we have done from I think first day. I think so. Anything missing? Test connectivity done. Yeah. I think we completed first day. Any question? Then you can discuss.
So for
Hello, Mono.
practice, can you get the passwords for?
Yeah. So you do the practice online or offline?
We'll do online, so that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if anything
So
initially we can ask you.
yeah. Let's me yeah. Just let me check that one server. So this is an URL. You can try to open this URL first. I'm giving in the chat. Yeah, try to open this one, and then username. Username is 32 and 33. So you can take 31 and 32. Okay. Sorry, 32 and 33. And password is different. Okay. So please tell me who is using 32 and 33. Then you can provide the password.
Sorry, there are two servers, 132 and 133.
It is user. So Manu, you can use this 132. I'll use 133
Okay.
account.
Fine.
Current account.
Yeah, please try to connect and let me know. Yeah, Mano, you are able to connect.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think you can share a screen if possible. That will helpful. We can see how we are going to implement that. Or I can take couple of PPT, I think. Okay. About the system databases and all, I think.
Okay, that will be better.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
let's
So
cover the PPT then first, Manu.
Ah,
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So we have installed SQL Server instance, named instance, sorry, default instance, and every instance have their separate data system databases basically in SQL Server. Okay, this is a main thing we have to understand here. System databases and user database. User data means that we are using for our use, that is from application writing a data in the databases. Okay, that is user databases, and the system databases that is using for the system monitoring and getting data, getting logs, getting all the events collected by the system for the troubleshooting and tuning part basically. So system databases have basically five. We can say from my side that I can say six. I'm explaining how. Four is default system in databases, that is MSDB, model, master, and TempDB. This is we can see here. The one is hidden database, that is resource DB. We cannot see in the GUI. Okay, there is resource DB. That is the first one databases, and the this is are the system database, that is we can see, we can implement that here. We can change, except master. Uh, we can destroy all three. So there's dependencies. If you destroy all these three, what happened basically? Master have all the system related information. Model just a template. Template in the sense when we are going to create any user databases, the user databases create a copy of this model. Whatever the settings on these databases has, or you can see here, like collation and all. Okay, this is taking default collation from system side. File, sorry, the initial size is 8 MB for the MSDB. Sorry, this is a model database. Sorry, yeah. So 8 MB by default. Oh, and log file is 8 MB. Previously, it is 3 to 1, 3 is to 1. Basically, in 2005, 2002, 2000 servers, there's a 3 is to 1. Means 3 MB data file, 1 MB is log file. But now this is data is very different nowadays. Like we are using for videos, other database type, data type. So this is Microsoft changes their settings from 16, yeah, 16, 8 MB and 8 MB. Okay, but from the database side, we have to think about that what data we are going to keep in that tables and writing data from the application. According to that, we have to customize here. Okay, so from SharePoint recommend that minimum data file size should be 100 MB minimum. Okay, and log file 50 MB, because in SharePoint we are uploading PDF file, Excel file, and other things. So that will require much space, because if you assign load means we can say less amount of size here, it will asking every time or claiming every time to the OS for new space basically. So this is a performance degradation from the database side. So due to the data, we have to just think on that, and we can assign some more space as we are keeping the data basically. Okay, so this is by default, and so new data was create according to this setting only. Okay, whatever the settings we are keeping here, na, new data can take the copy, or we can say that the replica setting, or we can say that carbon of this, and implement on new databases. So you can see here the data file 8 MB. Now we are going to create here new database, and you can see the difference. Okay, create new database, or we can use via command also. So there is a demo, simple, we can write. See, 8 MB data file or 8 MB log file. I'm just canceling here and just modifying model databases for a demo purpose. I am thinking about we are going to use SharePoint application. I am using 200 MB of data file and 50 MB of log file and save it. Done. Now I'm going to create new user databases. See here. So this is a model databases. This is just a template only. Okay. Whatever the settings we can get here, we will default for the new databases. On the user databases, we can get all the facilities and features, whatever configured or implemented. Next is MSDB. So MSDB is just a database which is for we can say that monitoring or automations basically. So this is use all the transaction done on agent side. So whatever the job created here, all the data we can get here in that MSDB. All the records, we can do a troubleshooting, we can check all the settings. Let's see, log, if you implement log shipping, if implement backup, we can get data inside these tables. Okay, all the HADR also here. See the HADR, something like that. We can get here HADR also. So every files we can get here. Okay, so if MSDB is only for automations, and we can say that jobs. If we delete these databases, there's no impact on main database engine, not on user databases. Only is that we are not going to schedule any job. We cannot going to do any automated task from here if this is corrupted. This is not impacting our whole database instance. Okay. Temp DB, this is for temporary works, temporary files, temporary tables like local and variable, local and global tables. There are two tables in SQL Server, local and global. Okay, so that table uh, created here and using the sessions and the global sessions, we can say that connections. So these are the four system DB, but hidden database is resource DB, and one is distribution databases that is created at a time of replication. So when we implement replication, we get the fifth databases that show here under this system databases, distribution databases. So according to situation, we can say that there are 6 databases, system databases in SQL Server, that is resource DB, master DB, model DB, temp DB, and MSDB, and that distribution database. Totally 6 databases. That is a system databases. We can say that. But there is a condition. If we implemented replication, we get distribution databases. Else we have a 5. Any question?
No, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So we have check protocols. Yeah, see, this is a old snapshot. So VIA is also a protocol in SQL Server that is deprecated now. Okay, in new versions. So TCP IP done, master model user, yeah, done. Yeah, this is different. Okay, now TempDB is also done. Okay, so we have to check the stats. How can we check the stats? Database. So
Can
we
you
can just
elaborate little more on temp DB?
yeah, TempDB. TempDB is just for our temporary work. Means let's an example. We have written one report. Okay, it is we can say that salary. Okay, salary report. So in that we are calculating day wise salary. Okay, and our hourly wise salary. So we are just calculating all these things. Means day 1 to day 30. So there's a calculation, count, attendance. So that count function called, and that will task perform in TempDB only.
So
So
you
that is a
mean to say
temporary table.
it is not user table? Database internally calls temp DB and utilizes that for sorting and
Yes,
all those purposes.
yes.
Okay, got it.
So if you are calculating more, you are using means like you are using group by, order by, any Windows function, that all goes on temporary TempDB. That all activity perform on TempDB. So my the in the performance tuning part, TameDB sometimes impacting very slow due to that data write huge data in temporary files. Okay, one scenario that in different company I see that about temporary files, there is a Russian dating site. Okay, so they are using Azure, and they are using shared software as a service. So in software as a service, there are TempDB is shared TempDB. Okay, so when they are uh, clicking on a date means appointment basically, that is getting time, means which user is free, which is not free for dating. Na? That is taking time. So we discuss with Microsoft and take that task that ask that why it is taking time and why TempDB is not dedicated with this system. So he told me that this is a shared server and TempDB used by many shared databases. Okay, so you have to just customize your code. You have to just use variable table or in memory. We can say that in memory table, and you can use that one. So that's not a best practice basically, but yeah, sorting by default is goes on TempDB. So it will create local table or global table. There are two type of temporary tables. So one is a start for single hash, or there's a local temporary table or global double hash. You can see in any. So single hash means local table. Sorry, local table. Ta, 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 ta. Oh, oh, yeah, what am I writing? Table, and double hash means global table, temporary table basically. So it is used for a session only till connection destroyed. This is deprecated. Okay, but in this we get a structure only. Data is destroyed, but a structure is remains same. That is global temporary tables. Means anyone using a report and using this means this is exist after execution also, but this is destroyed or deleted after disconnection. Okay, so we can see in TempDB here, if we create that one. Okay, the two tab is still we don't have anything, but we can create temporary table and we can check that one. Okay, in that TLSQL part we can just practice that one little bit. So here we can see,
The temp space here in the
mm,
TempDB is used by all the other user databases. I mean, or when we
yes,
are creating
means
a new database, we are not allocating any other temp space.
no, we are not this is a, so these four databases for all the databases that is created on this system. These are the shared resources. He is managing all the instance level activities, which user is performing what task and transactions. Master is managing and monitoring all the transactions. Model is just template. MSDB is for automations and jobs. A template TempDB is for any temporary activity performed by end user on this system. Means we have a multiple databases inside this system. Let's see, we have let's see one table we created demo. Okay, I'm creating by default. Okay, click that one. Okay, this is a database. This is a user databases. Okay, we have multiple demo databases inside that. Okay, so on demo 1, demo 2, and demo 3, someone is doing sorting, someone's getting temporary tables, someone temporary global tables. So all tables come here in TempDB for the whatever the user is doing temporary activities, that is created inside the system DB here. We can see here that this is totally a shared temporary location for temporary activities for any end user. In short, we can say that in any query we are using, let's see, we are not using any temporary tables. If, forget that things, not a global, not a local tables. But if any end user doing any sorting, doing using any function, doing any we can say clause group by or anything, that will use temporary DB. So we have to just keep this according to our utilization of the temporary databases. We can keep 50, 25 like that minimum. So 50 is enough basically, 50 GB. But if we are taking yearly reports, see if you go the net banking of the SDFC, you can get monthly report. In monthly report, you can get 30 rows only. These are restrictions. If you go for 5 years, you have to go on different tab, and then it will take time, and you can send from the back end because it's time consuming or utilizing TempDB behind that. I think
So the
I
question
explained.
was that can we dynamically increase or decrease TempDB based on customization to increase the
Yes,
performance?
yes, we can move anywhere. This is a temporary. We can just it will created every restart. This is
Okay.
a named this as named. This is temporary. This is not a fix. If you restart this, it will blank. Every restart, TempDB destroyed. Create a new one. So you can see that the date time creation we can. So I'm just showing this one. There's an example for TempDB. So this is a command. So this is online database. I can see here. Let me the database date. Select start from sys databases. Okay, simple. See the create date. What is this? This is I think different time zone. I think 9 p.m. Okay, this is 8:32. Okay, means of before an hour. Now I'm going to restart this. From here we can restart from that here also. Okay, so just I'm restarting from here because I'm an admin. So I'm restarting from here. It will clean all the sessions, connections, and then it will restart. Okay, now it's done. Okay, let me refresh this page. Okay, and focus on this number 2 ID. Okay, see the time 9:55. Previously it was 8:32. I think means it is a temporary. After every restart, temporary database will clean up, and when the session is created, it will writing data into TempDB till restart. Before restart, sorry. We can move anywhere in the server. Okay, as per our convenient. We can write a query, alter databases, and we can map that data file on different drive as per our convenient. Means this is movable. We can move this database files anywhere in the system, but not master. It is fixed. We cannot modify after installation. Only as special cases when server is crash. So that is a different part. That is when we are going to build the instance. So we have to keep the database in single user mode from the startup parameters, and then we can do that. So what is the starter parameters? We can see from here. The startup parameters. Database servers. This is the best practices. The startup parameters we can see here. Startup parameters. See. So here, we cannot enlarge it. See, in a startup parameters, we have a DIE. Okay, D for data, or L for log, and E for error log. So three things parameter we have enabled here. We are capturing three things at a time. Okay, we cannot modify these three things. Okay, this is static. We can add here some trace files for tempdb, that is 1111 that is for tracking that tempdb performance and all. Okay, so this is a part of performance tuning, that is trace need to be enabled. Which trace is required we can pass here, and we can add here. For always on we can enable from here. See the always on availability group. So this is a server properties. So we are changing from server side. We cannot change from here. We are not going to change from the config file basically. Okay. Here we cannot get always on. So there are different tab or different we can windows for enabling features on SQL Server. So here we are not getting HADR or HA features here to enable. Okay, we can go with this window. We have to enable go to properties, and then we have to enable that always on or file stream enable from here. Okay, this. This is for Windows clustering. If you are going for clustering, we have to pass that window cluster name here, then it will enable. So I am saying about that parameters, okay, and yeah, parameters and trace files. You can write the keywords. Basically, we can discuss in performance tuning part trace files, and that is yeah, tempdb, where we can move that tempdb. Okay, we will cover in different separate class. Okay, and about these databases. Okay, so I think it is clear to you all about the databases. Okay, tempdb is only for temporary activities performed by the end user, nothing else.
Shailesh, if let's say by mistake I go to the master and drop the database, what will happen?
Not possible.
Not possible. I mean, I can't drop it.
Yes,
Can you show
you
that?
can try.
Go to the
Yeah, it will ask multiple times. You see, there's no option for deleting. See, but
go on
in
the
user
go
databases,
in
you can
any other database.
delete.
Okay. Now go on a model or MSD. You will
No
also
model,
find.
no system databases we cannot modify. This is totally harded. Okay, but it will crash. Crash in the sense it will stop working. So we have to just rebuild that databases. Basically, with the command, we have a 5-6 command for keeping the database up and running. Okay, that is the maintenance part. We can see in the maintenance part, basically, there's a command. Okay, and we can see, I can show you all these things. Okay,
Okay,
basically,
so
it
you
will
mean to
crash.
say, okay, you mean to say that if master databases crashed or
Mhm.
corrupted, so we can uh, reconfigure it using in maintenance mode?
Yes,
Okay,
there's a possibilities. We have
okay.
a just we have to go to this. There's a step. I can just simple show you. Go to this step, startup, and we have to just change the startup parameter here. Just we have to pass m, my dash m. Okay, dash m is minimum configuration. System will start with the minimum configuration. In that we will get only master databases and temp db, except nothing is appear at that point of time, and then we can repair that master database, and then after that restart system will start working 99% if data if the drive is not corrupted.
A drive, you mean
So
the
storage,
if acha storage drive. So
yeah,
even we
storage is
can
not.
map it on a new storage drive if that is
No,
corrupted.
no, not possible. That is different. See, there's no modification. See here, we cannot modify this one here or remove that one. This is a data file for master only. See here, master databases.
Okay.
So we can change the startup parameters. That is minus m. That is for minimum configuration mode of SQL Server. Start with that minimum data. Means only loading system databases, master and tempdb, and then you can fire your command for repairing, and then it will start working after the start. 99%. 1% is that only for if a storage is corrupted, we are not able to read that mdf file. This file. mdf is master data file. ldf means log data file. Or there is a one other file name is ndf, that is secondary data file. So that is a part of database partitioning. When we create ndf files, when we are splitting data into multiple files, it is ndf file. So this is a part of partitioning, table partitioning, index partitioning, whatever you called. That is a different one. So I can show you how can we add ndf files. Mm. Okay, the latter one, this is a part of performance tuning, basically. Okay.
Okay. So here you mean to say that if master is deleted or corrupted, that is a logical corruption, not a physical
Yes,
data file corruption. Okay.
yes, logical
Okay.
corruption.
So
Okay.
files are still there. Only we need
Yeah.
to reconfigure this in maintenance mode, master.
Yes,
Okay.
we can check that. See, if I can show you demo when how can we corrupt this database and how can we rebuild these databases basically. I will show you the
Here
demo
might be we
basically.
don't have option to drop, but if I go to C drive, the location where data files are there, I'll go and delete the data file from there. That is possible, right?
Yeah, you can delete that. So then the system is not getting up that point of time. There's no option then. We can repair
Then we
that
will
if
then we'll not be able to reconfigure
yes.
master,
How
because
can you
that is a
repair that?
physical
Yes. How
corruption.
can yes? How can you repair that? We need a file to repair that one. See, I can show you that we have created this file. I can show you. Just not I'm going to in deep, but I can show you how can we do that. Okay. For in demo, I can show you all these things. It is data file. No? Okay. So go to the drive, C drive, program files, SQL server, database. Not going to data and going to log basically. And we no sorry, and we have a demo db, a demo log file. I can show you how can we check that one. So just we can use this one, open with notepad. In demo, I can show you how can you corrupt and we can use database. No, not permission. I have to ask that Shubham to give me permission to explore this. I have a permission. How? We have to note it. So basically, we can open a log file. Scenario based, basically, I show you as tell you something like that. We can go and modify the log file. This is not committed yet because we have avoided that one. Okay, so we can just I just change the log file. Na? This will go in suspect mode or emergency mode. Okay, or this is yeah suspect mode or emergency mode. Then we can just repair that one like that. MSDB sometimes go in suspect mode or corrupted mode. Basically, if we don't have any space in that mount point or we can drive or any by the end user mistake, they're writing data into the master DB. Okay, some maintenance plan or something like they are fetching some report and keeping data in that master DB. So that point of time we have to just that part scenario we can just repair that databases. If the physical MDF file is deleted from that local system, we can't do that one. But if it is running now, we cannot do it. This is services down, then we can do all these things. Let's an example. Let's see. I don't have permission basically this point of time, but I can show that if you the service is running, okay, and I want to copy or delete this file. Okay, let's see. I'm just doing this MDF file. Okay, I'm just cutting and paste and different location. See, this type of error we can get when I can service stop the services. We can get the data here. Okay, let's see the example. I can stopping this, and then we can try that. This is a part of troubleshooting and maintenance. I can show multiple demo on that. Okay, services stop. Okay, try now. So like that, we cannot move master databases if service is on or any databases. Now we can see that after this start, we can get error for these databases. See, recovery pending means log file is there. I think yeah, master DB master data file is moved from there. Okay, see, we have moved that master DB. So this type of error we can get recovery pending, suspected, emergency mode. Okay, we can see that all this in a different PPT. I think I have written all these things. What are the mode on SQL server of databases? Okay, now we have to just repair this one. Okay, we cannot get the properties here. See, we cannot don't do it from that GUI side. We just use the command line only. Okay, so command line is that we just alter databases, modify or add files, and then we have to just map this path. Okay, so path is that we can just demo, we just select that one and we will pass this path. Then we can, then the database engine search this path and copy this one and then start the databases. Okay, so this is a part of troubleshooting and maintenance. We will see multiple demo like that. Okay, I'm not going to show you that this time. Okay,
Can
now
we
it's
look into
mhm.
the physical structure of the database now? What all files are where located? All
Yes.
log files and
Okay, so files we have to check that. So I can show you from that first command line. Okay, select start from sys files, sys data files, databases, data files. Data files are also sys files. So it is showing about the master databases. Okay, this is a location of master data file and log file. Okay, now next command is also we have a select. Oh, start from sys databases. Databases. I think it also provide us the details like all the databases, master files only. Okay, not log files. See here. Okay, master tempdb model or msdb. Or one more thing, the database ID. Master database is one, always is one, temp is two, three, and four, and user databases after that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So till 1 to 4 is system databases, 5 to more than that, that is user databases ID default. If you are connecting join, making any join on the databases, you can just pass database ID to make a join. That is a different one. And this is a command line. If you want to see that from the here, we can see that the database settings. This is a default location. So the default location means whenever you're creating by default any databases, you get data file on this location, log file on this location, and you're doing backup by default, you can get backup file this location. So this is a physical location of data file, log file, and backup file.
so, is there what is the command to find the data file location for user databases?
Yeah, you have to just pass this one. Basically, you have to just pass the database ID. We can get that one.
Acha, we are
You
not
just pass it,
getting because demo is
deleted.
problematic now. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay. So you can just pass the where the database ID is 5, 6, 7, whatever with the user database name. You can get that. Or by default, this is the for whole databases. Okay, whatever the created here, na, you can get name, database ID, mode, stats, creation date, whatever. Okay, and if you want to see yeah, okay, let me show you another example of data files. That is I'm going to create a new databases. Okay, but we need a ndf file. Okay, it is secondary data files. So SQL Server has two by default files, that is master data file, that is MDF, log data file, that is LDF, and secondary data file is NDF. Okay, so I'm showing you here data files. Okay, and now this I can show you here that okay, see, this is for data file 200, log file 50 MB, and now I'm going to add secondary data file. You can see that here, secondary data file. See, okay, this is only a primary file group. We can change multiple file group. We can create new file group. This is a part of we can see that is performance tuning, date table partitioning. Okay, so how can we create multiple file groups and multiple secondary data files? So we can saying that secondary or s data file, data files. Okay, so see, it is taken 2 MB, 200 MB, 200 MB by default from the model. For data file, we set 200 MB. So this is also a data file basically. That is known as NDF. Okay, I am just keeping a default, not changing anything. Click OK, and now I can show you here the data file as a NDF. MDF. Look, let's see. I can see where, or we can use that this file, database, and then file. So here is about the user database. Now here you can see that first is MDF, second is LDF log file, and third one is NDF. See here. I think it is visible to you. I think so. Or we can copy this one and show you. Mm, mm, ta, 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 ta. How can I zoom here? Basically, it is visible to you, or I can zoom
Yeah, yeah,
that one.
it's visible in the name
It's
also. It
visible.
says as data file.
Yeah. So we can create multiple NDF file as per our storage, but we cannot create multiple MDF file.
So
This is only one.
if we have
Mhm.
let's say 1 terabyte database, so in that case, in a normal data file scenario, we'll have a 1 terabyte MDF file,
Yes, right.
a single file. We cannot split
Yeah,
that by any
yeah.
means.
No, we can split. It's a part of performance tuning. We have to just create a table partitioning, and we can choose the huge space occupied by a table. We can split that table into multiple files, and then we get the a smaller size of data MDB. Sorry, master database files. Okay, because it is, you are saying as a scenario, it is 1 TB. Okay, let's an example. It is 1 TB. Okay, now we have a one table. It is about, we can say that 750 GB. Let's an example. Okay, this is our small tables. Okay, so we are focusing on the part of performance tuning part. Ki we are writing single data in a single table, so we have to just split that for the performance for read. So we are decided that we are going for table partitioning, and we are using that on date on basis of date, that is financial year, we can say that. So let's see, there is a data since 2005. Okay, let's example there we have data 2005, and now it is 2024. So 19 years of data. Okay, there's a difference. Okay, so now we have decided as a DBA that we are going to keep based on date on financial year ending. Okay, so we have to create that is 19 NDF files at least for current scenario. Okay, 19 NDF file, and we can splitting this on every yearly and moving into the 19 NDF file. Maybe the data will be 500 MB or less than that, depend on the data written on the disk in that financial year. Okay, so we can move that, and this we can say that this 700 GB divided into, we can say that 25, sorry, uh, in 25 NDF files, because we are focusing on next 4 years. Okay, till 2019. Okay, sorry, 2019. So we have a 25 file that will divided this one by 19, means we can say that about depend on that their exact size, basically how much data in that financial year, maybe 500 MB, maybe more than that. And after splitting this, we have to perform one more activity, that is rebuild index, that will take the unused space and compressing the databases, basically, or we can say that serializing databases according to their space, move from here to here, means from MDF to NDF. So maybe the MDF file for year 2005 about 1 GB, maybe. So this 72 GB, 7500, sorry, 75 GB reduced to 1 GB. I think you got my point. or we can see the demo. I think that is very helpful to explain basically. Yeah, Monu?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
once we
Yeah.
come to that chapter, I think that
That
that will.
chapter, then
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see this
Basically,
better
this is a part
in
of
detail.
performance tuning when database is established and we are getting error, timeout, memory timeout, or we can say that connection timeout, or we are not able to read that table properly. Then we decide to move this data into, split the data into multiple data files. That is known as NDA file simply.
Okay. Now, if we come to log file, same is with log file as well, no? Or we
Yeah,
can
we can
split
create.
log file.
No, we cannot split, but we can create multiple log files for when we're modifying multiple many data into buffer basically, or it is not written to this very frequently, so we can create that, but this is not necessary. Previously
Can you
people are
elaborate that?
doing, means that means like let's say an example, that's we are creating a dashboard, okay, and in dashboard we have 5 or 6 reports, okay. In 6 report we are doing all the changes in the table based on requirement or parameters, so all this done in the log file before it is creating a file or sending a ppt to the end user. Till time it is written on disk, sorry, written on temporary log file, and after this transaction completed, database engine can write data into the mdf file. It is a part of transaction, we can say that query processing. So when the end user completed their task and checkpoint is fire, it is writing data into the mdf file. Before that we all get data into the ldf file, so that the huge log reside in that ldf file, that is modified data that is not written to disk. So all the unmodified data reside into that, sorry, modified data reside into that log file only till commit, or till we can say that recovery, in the sense we can say that checkpoint fire. So basically checkpoint fire within a minute, every within a minute, okay. But means that is transaction not completed till 5 to 6 minutes, that is writing a daily log. Or let's an example of bulk insert operation, simple example of bulk insert. We are inserting millions of record in a table, or deleting millions of record from the tables, so that is all the logs in the log file. So in that cases, we will get an error if the log file drive has less space, the transaction aborted basically, because database is not able to write log file that point of time, and your bulk insert or delete operation aborted. There's a two scenario for implementing log file, or the error we get. Just a minute. So I think you got my point for the log file. When log file
And
increase,
in no, yeah, in normal scenario, in a normal
hmm
database,
hmm
so if we keep, what is the standard size of log file?
that is previously it is 3:1 MB, okay. Now it is 8
Okay,
8
let's
MB
take
data
it.
file.
Let's
hmm
take it random 4 GB data file. Let's take it. So
hmm
once the 4 GB is full, so how will it flush the entire data and start writing from beginning again
for the log file.
for the log file?
Yeah,
How does
so
that work?
see, if you are saying that 4 GB, okay, means, yeah, like, sorry,
Whatever the
sorry.
size is, and I'm not talking
Yeah,
about the size. Yeah, the
so
architecture, how it writes,
yes, so basically
or
let's
you are going to take the session for the entire architecture.
yes, yes, all these things we, we will cover, but
Then
there's a
leave it.
separate that is
Fine,
the
fine.
part of performance tuning. Error and performance tuning, I will show you here basically. When we go in that maintenance part plus PTO, okay, I will cover each and everything. There are
Okay,
two
and
topic
what
when we
about
do.
the
Mhm.
Kernel,
internal
like little
architecture,
bit
no?
architecture of all these. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we will cover here, but
Are you
yeah,
take
yeah.
okay?
Basically, we will. This is so. Let's an example. We have a system. Okay. Now we are starting writing data. Okay. So we'll make a connection between server to application. So how connection landing on a SQL server, that is SNI, SQL Server Network Interface. So from till to commit a data, I will show you on a graph. Basically, this is in inside PPT. Basically, I always keep in the end. I think so. End not, but yeah, query processing. I think this topic is query processing. In that, I will cover how the query work and we can do maintenance and all. Query processing. No. Yeah, sorry. Query status no. Mm. I have a PPT I've created. This is the part of training basically. This is the best part because this is a part of performance tuning. So we'll take that in the end, I think, for basic tuning key sheet property. Yeah, see here. So this is a diagram of SQL Server basically. Okay. I think I will, it is visible. This is the SNI. This is our instance basically. Okay. Where data is residing. So
Okay.
application landing here, and then the processing is start going this way. TDS, table of data streaming, that is developed by that Sybase basically. This is not a part of Microsoft right now after 1989, but this TDS is developed by that IBM, sorry, Sybase. Okay, and this is a language event, query tree, command parser, plan, executor. So we will discuss every component inside this SQL Server architecture. How the query is going to flow. This is a part of performance tuning, how query is flowing and where we have to tune. If we are not getting plan in that plan cache, data in not buffer cache, so where you have to troubleshoot. So I'm keeping always in the end because we have familiar with all the environment of the SQL Server. So this is a part of query processing. We can see all these things. Okay.
Can we have this in brief
A
now
brief
itself?
in the sense, yeah, brief in the
And
sense,
we'll take detailed at the end, but
yeah,
just in short.
yes. In short, every transaction landing on SNI, that is SQL Server interface, then it is converted into TDS. Whatever transaction you are sending from application, that is written into the SQL language TDS format. Okay, that is TDS format, and then database engine protocol TCP IP, whatever we have configured, landing here, and then this is language check, and then syntax check, that is command parser. Then after that, optimizer create a multiple plan for that query, maximum 10 plans. Every transaction has a plan. That's an optimal plan. And then executor choose that plan and then read or write a data from that databases. But SQL Server engine do not go every time on the disk. Basically, it will check in the buffer manager first. Okay, this is a buffer manager. Buffer manager has three parts. That is plan cache, data cache, and buffer pool. So
Sorry,
here,
Shailesh, no, I need to take 10 minutes break, 10 to 12 minutes. So
yeah.
is it?
So
Let
I can,
let's take 10
Mhm.
minutes break then. Let's be back.
yeah, yeah,
Because this is
11,
important. Let's all of us.
sure,
11:20.
Yeah.
11:40 will
sure.
start. Yeah,
Yeah.
11:40. Okay,
Okay,
I'll be
thank you.
back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'm back.
Wait for Mano, I think. Mano is joined.
Hmm. So we'll be sharing the PPT for the what are we covered.
Yeah, I can print this and share you that the PDF file because this is my
So
master sheet basically.
hmm,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So I can select that one which we are cover the topic now. I can
hmm.
select that
Yeah, I'm
part
back.
and
Huh?
we can. Yeah. Hi.
So
So
we'll cover that slide. We'll go through that, and also will
yes,
that
yes.
installation we will try. And if anything, then we'll ask the question.
Yeah. Basically, from my side, I'm trying my best for the performance tuning part. Basically, at the end, you need performance tuning. Basically, I think so, or troubleshooting. So
Yeah.
I will covering all the steps which is required for that. Okay, this is basically we can say the foundation for that performance tuning and all.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Let's cover the architecture.
So I'm not going in deep because we are not in such a way. Basically, we take a step by step. So
Hmm.
basically, here is that architecture is simple architecture. We can say that this is a SNI where the landing page of that application, the connection is come here. Okay, so we have a DMB for connection and request and sessions. We can check that one. There's three DMB. Okay, that is sys.dmb under exe request and sessions and connections. We can check all the IP addresses and username and user corrections. Okay, and this is a TDS that is developed by a Sybase that is okay. And language events and we are just saying about buffer manager basically. So main is buffer manager. What we have assigned a memory means buffer to the SQL server. SQL Server play around at the main role is buffer manager basically. So if we come for the select statement, it will check and check that data inside that data cache. It is exist or not. If not, then it is go for that data file, send to the data file to read that data. So that will increase one IO and it will take time to read the data from the data files if it is not getting a data buffer, so data caches. Okay, it's a part of performance tuning, but whatever the modification done by the end user, that is managed by or monitored by the transaction manager. Okay, so transaction manager can manage all the modified data that is in that log file before it is not written to the disk. So that modified data written to disk after firing a checkpoint or committing a data, okay, it will go to the data file written to disk permanently, then persist for always. We can take backup and all. Okay, sorry. So this is a simple way and simple, we can say that simple architecture of SQL Server, how query landing and processing and getting data from that uh, databases. Okay, there's two part. One is relational database engine, other is a storage part. So see, this is a storage part and this is a relational database engine activities. Okay, so main is we have to just focus on buffer manager in performance tuning part. Okay, where data is waiting or where to read data, what is the plan, is the plan cached or not. So we have many features in SQL server that we can force to use the best plan to the query, or we can force the indexes, so we can give a hint to the query in the query when we are writing TLSQL. Okay, or we have a query hint, that tool we can just force from there. We can use that tool also, that is introduced in 2019, I think. Yeah, query hint. So we can use that query hint also. In that we can get a best plan and we can force that plan to that transaction query to use that plan to retrieve data mm, faster. Okay, so this is simple architecture of the database. Okay, we can see all that entire step by step. We have separate PPT for that basically of 23, 24 pages. We have created that one. So we are here basically on SQL Server. So this is monitoring part. Leave it. So basically, see, just overview of that. We have to focus on this historical data information in future for the tuning part. Okay, which queries using CPU, logical read, logical write, duration, physical read. Okay, IO stats, waiting, latches and all. Okay, so this is a wait type. So we can see which weight type we have. If we are getting CS packet, so where we have to troubleshooting where which feature we have to just enable or modify the entire configuration of databases. So we just see in performance tuning part, PTO part. Okay, this is monitoring part. We'll see in monitoring. Okay, so we are here, and now after that, what we have to cover? Basically, we have to check all the protocols and all. We've taken this one also. Okay, let's just later. Now, what we are discussing, which topic? That is performance tuning, little bit, and that indexing. Okay, and log file. Okay, this is the what a log file. Okay, so log file we can create one and more, but that is not the best practices. Basically, one is enough, but we have to think on the data basically, how much data we are modifying. Okay, or doing some transaction basic modification updates, and we can say that delete, we can doing bulk operations. So that will help us to allocate a space or memory to the log file. Okay, so from my side, from a DB side, we can say that uh, sorry, we need we need to focus on that recovery model. So this is a different part we will cover, that transaction or log increase depend on the recovery model too. Okay, so let's an example. We have a, we'll go in depth on the recovery. This is part of database recovery. We can disaster recovery basically. So in that I will give go in deep. So options. Mm, 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 See here. Okay. So database SQL Server provide three type of recovery model. On three type of recovery model, we can perform database backups. Okay. So full, bulk logged, and simple. So in simple recovery, there is no log file, no log file increase. Okay, because all truncated and written to disk, basically data file. But in bulk log, there's difference. That is for bulk insert operation, basically where we uploading too much data, like call center CRM application. We are inserting Excel sheet, and agent is calling on the behalf using that Excel sheet. So mainly we use that bulk log to inserting some data. Okay, means huge amount of data, so it will logged minimally. Okay, so there is a file that is a data pages in SQL Server at BCP. Okay, bulk change management, we can say that. Sorry, yeah, processing. In that it is logging all the start and end of the transaction IDs in that BCP file. BCM file. Okay, so in BCM file we can see in data pages, means what are the different type of data pages in SQL Server. So we'll discuss separately on BCM file, why this is required, or what is the important of that file. So we have to just decide the recovery model too, when we are when that log file is increasing very frequently. Okay, so you have to just discuss with developer, or we can say that see the application data flow, how we are reading or writing or modifying the data. Okay, how frequently we're uploading bulk insert operations. So we have to just keep that eye on that, and we can modify that database recovery model. So that will help to tune that log file, or we can say to manage the log file of the databases. Basically, in short, we can say that we can see that other files, the data files, log files, IM files, or BCM or DCM. There are different type of files, pages in SQL Server. So any question on log file? I think we have started from here. I think log file. So we go that architecture of SQL Server.
Yeah,
Yeah,
logs file is, I think, it works in a cyclic fashion. No? Once the log file is
yes.
full, it flushes the file and again starts writing from the beginning.
Yeah, so
So
in
how does
log
that
file,
work?
there's an architecture in log file. So there's the log file divided into VLFs, virtual log files. Okay, so that we have restricted into there is restriction in 2016, but now it is not recommended. If the log file till 1 MB, only two log VLF is created. more than 64 1 MB to 64 MB, that is 4 VLFs, and more than that till 1 GB, this is 64 VLFs. So every VLFs is that is used as a we can say that that is LIFO system. Okay, FIFO, sorry, FIFO, first in and out. Okay, so that is a FIFO and LIFO, the two type of mechanism. Na? So this is using FIFO. Basically, if the transaction is coming and allocated some BLF, if the transaction is completed, that will release the space for other transactions, basically. Okay. So when we see that in performance tuning part or management part, if the log file is growing, so we do log shrink file. Okay. So there is activity that there is a command, dbcc command, that is data consistency checker. We will just shrink the log file. So that command will shrink only the spaces that is the connection is disconnected, that the transaction is completed basically. So that will decrease the file size that point of time.
And
If the
also,
transaction is
does
running,
it restricts that the file is also backed up before shrinking?
if you fire that, you can have to just if this is a production server
Mhm.
or this is in high abilities, there's a condition basically. So we will not going to fire shrink basically, because this will truncate the that log file. So we just ask backup team, or we have to just check a manual log backup. Okay,
Mhm.
that will also shrink the log file size. So there are two options we have. If this is development and QA, we can do shrink, no doubt. But in production, we have to just ask backup team, or before shrinking, we have just perform log backup. Then it will automatically truncate the log file after writing it on the disk or taking backup on the disk. So checkpoint fire after manually, or every 1 minute, or every backup is initiated. So checkpoint fire, and that will return to disk the data. Okay,
Okay.
modify data. So that is not an issue. That is for disaster recovery and maintenance part. But we can perform on development and QA session, QA environment manually. DBCC shrink file or file name, that is 2, log file ID is 2, or MDF file ID is 1. So we can just file a command like DBCC shrink file, and in single bracket, a small bracket, ID is 2, then it will work. So that is simply we can write like that. DBCC shrink file, and then this two. So it will work. And then we have to just select the database name also. Okay. So database not master, not MTB, just user database. Then it will work. Okay. So we can just fire like that. See that. Current size, minimum size, used pages, estimated pages. So both is same. So we cannot there is not shrink any file because there is no space to shrink. Okay. Because it on already in minimum sizes. Okay. This is a command. Is the part of maintenance, or we can say that performance or troubleshooting. We can say that if we get any error, sorry, we get any tickets like there's a log file full, we get an alert, it is 90% full log drive. So we can start taking backup and shrinking the log file to avoid any database corruption, or any transaction rollback and all like that. So this
Okay.
is a command basically. Yeah. So any question on log file? And if we cover, it will cover deep in, that is table partitioning.
Okay.
Okay. And next, I think in PPT, I think taken all these things. Do you have any question? Then we can discuss. We'll start from here. Reporting purpose means we have to just restore the SSRS here. Next, then we can go with the design and architecture of that databases, writing a data, creating table and all, and security policies. Yeah.
And different modes of database you will take later, na?
Yes, yes.
In
There are 5.
maintenance.
So maintenance, before maintenance, we can take that database, database modes and stats. Okay, these are 5. Okay, recovery, in recovery, pending, stat,
Mhm.
offline. Okay, and then suspect, emergency. These are the modes. Okay, and online. So we'll
Mhm.
discuss later how what are the benefit and what are the impact basically later.
Mhm.
So basically, this is a part of installation and seeing the instance architecture. Basically, we are not going deep into database architecture basically, because data file written data is into pages. So pages, we have 8 pages in SQL Server. Okay, index pages, data pages, DCM, BCM, SGM, JAM. Okay, IMA. So these are we are discussed later in the part of maintenance or performance tuning. You can cover that one. Okay, so I think for today that's it from my side. If you have any question, then we can discuss, or we can wrap this call.
Yeah,
Uh,
so can send us the content and we will do that installation
Yeah,
part. And if any questions will come tomorrow. Just
yeah, yeah.
asking from the planning perspective,
Mm-hmm.
is it okay, Manu? You also like if we can start 8:30, half an hour early.
we can. That will be
I
better,
mean,
I think.
why I'm saying is, Shailesh, because we
Mm-hmm.
I think you have a 10-day plan, right? For as per the content.
Yeah,
Um,
because I've divided it. If you're okay now, then we can take more than that, and you have to just do a practice offline. Basically, I've
Yeah,
taken
I mean, yeah,
something of
let's say
practice.
you have covered like day 6, day 7. Let's say if you can merge into one day if possible, or wherever it works out, whichever day,
Yeah,
let's say we have covered fast.
from my side, we can cover. This will take 2.5 hour, 1.5 hours. It will take on database size, so we don't have database more in the database. We have just we have to write. So this depend on database size. So I think in replication we have four, so we have to do 4 time demo session. This is 1 time, so I think half an hour, 2.5 an hour basically. So I think 5 or 6 I can cover in a one day maybe, but I will try.
So I
Okay.
mean, we can. I mean, if it's okay, we can block calendar 8:30 to 12:30, right, for this
Hmm.
day. The
Hmm.
the blocker for me is next week. I have to be in office Monday and Tuesday, and I have to be
Hmm.
start early. So that 2 days will not be possible for a training. The timing what we
Hmm.
have, I have to go. There is no
Okay,
other.
so we
So
can extend Tuesday on Thursday. Basically, next Tuesday we'll not conduct this training, and we can go for Thursday. Basically, we
I
can
mean,
say that the PTO part will remain. It will take time basically because we have to collect stats and then we discuss
correct.
all the metrics beside. Because I'm not going in short basically. This we cannot take this in a short basically. We go in deep and
Okay.
expanded basically. Yeah,
I mean, so
I will
next
take
three
this.
days, next 3 days at least we have 4 hours, 8:30, 12:30, whatever we can cover, and then we can plan for the next week, whatever chapters left out, and
Yeah,
accordingly
I
we.
can update Aman and that Subham, I think. So they can plan this at 8:30, or we can start on
Hmm.
8:20 also, if you agree, basically.
Eight
Okay.
thirty, I think it should be reasonable. I'm just asking 30 minutes early so that it is.
Yeah,
If all three are okay, then I mean 8:30 we can start.
yeah. We
Yeah.
can
So
start 8:30 from tomorrow. Okay. So
hmm.
tomorrow is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. So 4 days
Hmm.
we can cover this, and this. I think we come to the maintenance
Hmm.
part, monitoring part. Monitoring, basically, I will show you all the steps that is for L2 level, from L1 to L2 level. Basically, how can you monitor and troubleshoot the errors and all. So that will very helpful to you basically, or nothing else. Okay, so
Okay. Yeah,
let's yeah,
you can
I am
share
sending
this
that
thing
to
to
this
me.
PPT. Okay, yeah, and we'll
And
check
And
also
this.
you
you.
have, if you have that SQL Server internal book na, handy, then you can send that as well.
Yeah,
Basically
either.
this is very old basically, but I have to
Okay.
just search that one, not any,
Okay.
so I will search that one and I will share that also. Okay, it's a
See
very
what.
helpful book basically. Hmm.
If you see any other or it's the same for 2019, I mean, we are looking from
Sure.
2019 onwards. So 2019, whatever you think that is the best, these are the reference links, or this is the best book which you
So
can
yeah,
refer later on. Yeah.
yeah,
So just give
basically
us some
in
references. Yeah.
2019 there is no memory architecture basically. From the database side, they have not written memory side basically. They have written from that
Mm.
HADR part mainly, because they are selling Azure. So they are focusing main on Azure. 19, 17, 22. They are most focusing on Azure side. So they are adding all these things. Nowadays, there is no SQL Server separate exam. They are focusing on Azure exams, Azure training, Azure books only. So this is very old book basically for the memory part and database architecture part. We will not get anywhere, I think so, in
So for
8
the
and 8 12.
same lab we have for HADR, how are we going to do this all in lab for?
Yeah, this is a standalone server. Let's show
Mm.
you. This is a standalone server. So this is
Mm.
one server, and we have separate two servers. So we can join this as a secondary DR and all. I can show you how can you join that, or if
Mm.
the Swam can do that one, then we can
Mm.
just keep this domain and we can start implementing all these things. Okay, if you get an error, that is for learning purpose, because there are too many error, like authentication error, drive is not mapped, or this database, Windows is not recognizing from the network. So we check firewall and all. So that will we get challenges here, because this is, I think this database is not in domain basically, I think. So let's see that database server. Sorry. Yeah. So I think this is a standalone. I think this is a standalone. Okay, not in domain. So there are too many challenges to implementing log shipping and clustering. Clustering need shared drive, but we can do log shipping and always on wall group. But we need domain for that, HADR and clustering, and yeah, clustering, yeah, required domain basically, because this is the system is shared basically, a shared services that, and for that we'll ask Subham and Aman to keep add this in a simple domain, test domain basically. Okay, so that will very helpful to us to implementing HADR and all.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a standalone server, but yeah, I can use that as a HA and DR later after adding in domain basically. There's no work group showing 19. Yeah, 8 GB. Okay. Okay. Thank you then. Let's meet
Okay.
at tomorrow 8:30. Okay, and we'll sharing PPT and asking Aman to schedule this call at 8:30 from tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Salish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Monu and Gopal. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye bye. Yeah. Thank you.